Now, here's the thing. We see that modern Hot Wheels has become more kid-friendly, toned down, and bright in terms of appearance and appeal, of course. But did you all know that Hot Wheels used to be edgy? The commercials of the old days says a lot about their demographics. The adrenaline, the semi-edgy stuff, cheesiness, and the wild and absolute madness that has been mixed to spark a synapse in mostly boys or girls, but majority of the demographics are young men, aka me, to attract these young men on what would create a great childhood for these kids to enjoy, including myself, of course. To add more blessings in disguise, not only Hot Wheels has become a successful toy car company, they also had some successes in video games, such as Velocity X, Turbo Racing, Highway 35, Beat That, just to name a few. Moreover, in the year 2003, the year I was born, we were treated to this amazing gift given by Mr. Jeff Gomez himself, Hot Wheels Highway 35 World Race. While it may have started as a standalone toy line and a movie, fun fact, it got separated into 4 parts back in Tsunami thanks to my friend telling me about this, it explained to a whole other franchise which included Acceleracers itself. They also had another toy line in which these models didn't appear in the main line, but instead the series line itself. It was obviously the edgy phase of Hot Wheels, but to us, it felt as if this was the golden age, just like every car media franchise ever back in the 2000s. To reveal why it's so special to the 2000s generation, or maybe late 90s, let's talk about the movie first. Highway 35. The movie starts off with Vert Wheeler, a 16-year-old teenager and voiced by the GOAT himself, Andrew Francis, got his driver's license on his 16th birthday while stumbling upon a car that is the Dior 2. From there on, he was invited to a race hosted by Dr. Tesla to find his MacGuffin, the Wheel of Power. Although the movie was mostly kid-friendly compared to the next movies, we'll discuss the plot of, but despite a simplistic and straightforward plot, it's not really as straightforward as you think. Rather, it's sort of like a beginning of a bigger, expanding world. They also give but this sort of explanation based on an ancient inscription to sort of expand a little bit of its lore of why the MacGuffin was made and its significance to the world race itself. But what's also special about this movie and, most of the cars and the teams is that most of the teams were divided into groups that could specialize in one specific terrain. The Wave Rippers specialized in the coastline, mainly if you see their jump jets going through waves. Street Breed in the urban metropolitan area. The Buzzsaws and the Camouflage of the Road Beast cars were specifically designed for the jungle. Dune Rats with the spike tires for the desert. And the Lava tires and plows for the Scorchers to make their way through it in any volcanic areas. It's funny how one car looks similar to that of a certain racer, but its main purpose is to sabotage the race and win to get that said MacGuffin to the big baddie, Galorum. While in the end they failed, the twist happened in the sequel. The sequel also expands the Wheel of Power's abilities to something much bigger than just a source of renewable, unlimited energy for the world to prosper. Welcome to the racing realm. Most of the racers after the World Race were split into 2 new teams. The Teku are your average tuner club with bass boosted speakers integrated into their cars, and the Metal Maniacs, your average muscle car group but with brute Mad Max-esque modifications. Both of these teams got called back again to race for Dr. Tesla, but this time they embarked on these dangerous racing rounds to stop Galorum, who already got the Wheel of Power. Although maintaining the same characters and adding fresh faces, it takes a dark turn to its story and tone whilst fleshing out more of the characters' journeys and backstories on these series of 4 movies. Before we get to the character development itself, the visuals are good for a B-tier movie intended for the product placement. While it may not be in the budget of any Disney Pixar movie with its refined CGI or Into the Spider-Verse, it still delivers on what vibe they want to give or even to make the audience feel about the environment itself. The examples are, the drone headquarters was filtered with matrix green, the moss green signifies on how the swamp realm feels alive and growing, the yellow atmosphere of the metro realm signifies this eerie vibe on this desolate metropolitan city filled with driverless cars and raging semis that are gonna kill you. Every color grading matters to give that feel on what the alien worlds want to represent and how they really distinguish themselves from each other. Now, the dark tone of the movie was what unsettled me a lot, so as I grew older, I started to understand bit by bit of the movie's adult themes itself. I want to say much because it would take me an hour to tell you everything, and it's gonna consist with many spoilers, but I'll give you a vague significance on what it will be. Here we go. Murder, death, off-screen mutilation, mental trauma.
Murder doesn't just happen.
Family and legal issues.
Business deal.
Gang war.
Torque! This hasn't changed anything. I'm still taking you down!
Hey, you want to take on somebody? How about you take on me?
Tame it, Wild. Anytime you're ready, Nolo. Anytime.
You get the point. Now, it's not really that of a kid's movie, that you should consider it. Thankfully, it's still PG, but not where it's PG-13 or R-rated. Now, I haven't said anything about character development in the Highway 35 segment, but these movies, including Highway 35, give this connection that you can relate with its characters along with their journeys. Their struggles, their problems, and their resolutions to overcome these sad problems is what make these guys relatable and easy to connect to. Now, to talk about character development itself, let's give an example. Third Wheeler. He's basically the underdog of the story, known only as a surf rat, but as the story progresses, he's honing more of his skills as a race driver and adapting to the responsibilities of being a team leader, which may not be easy at first, but he found his way on how to in the end. Yes, he might feel confident on being a team leader, and that's why in the first scene, well, not really first scene, but in the coastline scene where he talks to Nolo about like how he could lead the team or something like that. Well, he got a little bit cocky right there, and that's why it kind of led to his rude awakening. He was faced with even more of a bigger challenge as he has to readapt his skills on the racing role itself, which he thinks it's similar to Highway 35. Although it's cooler, it's way more dangerous than what you think, if you were to think about it in real life. Although he almost gave up, he bounced back with the right mindset and the motivation to win again. Honestly, I think everyone can relate to this journey, including me. To think a challenge is over feels as if it's an ending to something, which, yeah, you've achieved it. You feel proud that you've gone so far to achieve this thing. However, it's not over. It's only the beginning of a more tedious and vicious hardship to face, with the possible ramifications of failure, or even yielding in the worst case possible. As always, there's this resolution of going through it, whilst being persistent through the pain you suffer, so that will pay off in the end. And that's how I could relate to the problems of what Third Wheeler faced back in Acceleracers or even Highway 35 as a matter of fact. Now, we're talking about the toy line. They had an amazing toy line. So, of course it's Hot Wheels. They produce and sell toy cars. But except for the fact that these days, their quality has gone to shit. I'm sorry, I just can't stop slandering. Okay, look. What makes this toy line unique is the fact that they introduce some new things that are integral for the engineering to implement on some other casting future releases. Have you ever thought about the metal chassis and plastic body thing? Yeah? It was made in Acceleracers first. Well, yeah, first they introduced it in Acceleracers before that became a thing in the main lines and all that kind of stuff. Even in the 2005 main lines, before, after, you know, I feel like after Acceleracers were released, or maybe pre-Acceleracers, or I don't know, in the process of making it. It's great for the cars to go onto the track and, you know, they go through loops, jumps, and curves easily. It was an innovation that made these cars feel special, and not to mention the cold-molded 5-spoke and the 6-spoke wheels. Those were the best things that Hot Wheels has ever made. Good thing they made a return. If you want to check the video about that, you can go ahead, links in the description below. And fun fact, I used to have a alternate version of RD02 Accelium and Co-Flight. While those are the actual pictures that I can remember from my memory, I lost them all, which is unfortunate. Although if I were to have it right now, I would have compared them to the Acceleracers cars that I bought. Speaking of the Acceleracers cars I bought, let's take a closer look on what they look like and part of my collection. And also, Sam will help me on his big collection of Highway 35 cars. You'll see. These are my entire Acceleracers collection. Now, yes, all of these cars, as I explained before, you might not think as if they actually had a metal body, metal body and plastic chassis, or metal body, metal chassis, but of course, I actually thought about it like that back then, but I was wrong. This is a plastic body, and this is the metal chassis. It's suitable for track, and no wonder some cars kind of look a little bit proportionally odd, considering the fact that they're built for the track and designed for it. As you can see, these are the cars that I just bought recently, but there's some cars that I actually lost from my childhood, such as alright, let me shove aside from this. These are the cars that I actually lost in my childhood. Well, this is not the exact color that I actually had, but from what I remember, I used to have these three back then. Co-Flight, Accelium, RD02. Now, back then, when I was playing with some of my cars, and I pretended that some cars are like the substitutes for some of these cars right here. The only actual Acceleracers models I have are these three. And maybe I didn't really realize it, but somehow I was like, oh. And at least I got one drone in this thing, so yeah. That was fun to play with. But yeah, these two are the only carded cars that I actually bought with these cards right here. They actually have a card game, as a matter of fact. And if you want to look, if you want to research more about it, you can go to Race Grooves, or you can go to the Accelerons for these cards, and you know, just in case, like if you want to collect them. Or I think the Acceleracers hub would also do that, because at the same time, they also showcased some of the card games back in the day. Yes, most of the teams, they have unique paint jobs and unique styles of, well, their own. But yeah, what's astonishing back then compared to now is that I need to get a mainline model. Hold on. Yeah, this RX-7 right here. So it's better to look at it in person. Trust me, and you'll like it a lot. So compared to the modern Hot Wheels back in the day, these were crafted meticulously. Most of the tampos, I'd say, because if you look at them, oh boy, it's like, look at the amount of like effort that they try to put. Although there are some errors, like this kind of like a symmetrical tampo, but also yes, there was a chip right there, but it's fine. It's just not only a printing error, but probably like someone might have dropped it. And yeah, I bought this used, but it's still in good condition nonetheless. So yes, if you compare the prints back then and right now, yeah, this one takes the cake right here. And well, unfortunately, there's some cars that are actually good in the mainline cars, but yeah, it's not as good as we actually had before. So yeah, these are my drone cars. RD08, 6, and 2. Wait, gotta put them in any particular order. So yeah. So these are the cars that I own, and one is actually a pretty good condition. This one is okay, I guess. This one is kind of banged up because you can see right here that okay, sorry, I had to drop these. I want to showcase the kind of, yeah, this metal piece kind of got fucked up for some weird reason. I have no idea why. The tampos are a little bit odd. And fun fact, this is the only silver colored drone car out of the entire roster of the racing drones. Most of the cars are colored black, of course, either matte or gloss black. But this is the only one that's basically metal flake gray out of the bunch. So this is basically an odd one out. And not gonna lie, when I saw Valken's Fall Ground teaser for his fan-made movie, it actually made me like this car, bit by bit. I actually kind of like this SUV type drone car, so it's pretty nice. And yeah, these are my only two silencers that I've got. And fun fact, I got this Cove Light for free because my friend decided that he just doesn't want it anymore. So yeah, he just decided to just give it to me, and there you go. It's all mine now. It's unfortunate that I didn't see any Acceleracers cars in the pegs back when I was a little kid, and maybe I was a little bit too young at that time. I was like 4 or 5. No, I think I was like almost 3 years old by the time it already got cancelled. And yeah, well, yeah, 3 years old, more or less. So yeah, these are my two Metal Mania cars. Both of them are used. Sorry for the actual rust, if you could see the actual rust and all that stuff. Obviously I bought them used, so I wouldn't have to spend so much for these fucking cars. I know, Power Driver is the expensive Metal Mania out of the bunch. Hollowback, it's probably cheaper, but yeah, I had to get the one with the Komoot 6-spoke, and that's the only cheap option that I actually got. If I were to buy the Komoot the 5-spoke one, I'd probably have to search a little bit more, a little bit further, but yeah, yet again, I wouldn't really have any time to waste it, so I basically just get whatever I can and, you know, see what's the deal, and yeah, just buy it. And Power Driver, I heard this car sold for like $70 plus carded, but I got it loose, $5, pretty good deal. It's used, of course, but yeah, some of the things are kind of a little bit rusted or whatnot, but It's a really cool reimagining of like a Camaro, but then like if you just put in those Mad Max modifications, as I said before, the Metal Maniacs. It's one badass looking car. Oh boy. And we got high voltage. Well, it's my only official Tyco car, but I do have Power Rage and Spectite, although both of these cars are retooled. I do not know why Hot Wheels had to retool those two cars, because they were molded so well, but the cost cut had to ruin them. What an excuse. What's mesmerizing about this is I actually do like the black colored high voltage compared to like the movie one. The movie one just, I don't know, it just doesn't really suit right with me. Like, the blue is okay, I guess, but to me it just doesn't resonate with the car that well, and that's why I prefer, well, this sort of carbon fiber body. And yeah, so to say, but I still do love this model. Pretty cool rally hatchback, I'd say. And yeah, these are my cars that I've got from the Acceleracers series. Oh, I am looking forward to actually get more of them, but I have to be careful with my wallet because their prices are going up. I don't think they're going down anytime soon. So yeah, wish me luck for my wallet and pray for it. Dear God, I hope this does not go to shit. And yes, I will give Sam the opportunity to show his Highway 35 collection and see what he has got from it. So yes, unfortunately Sam wouldn't be available to voice over some of his collection, but yeah, he did present all of his collection that he got during his hunt for the Highway 35 cars, well, toy cars, I'd say. And even though I haven't even got one in my life, I'd still say that's a pretty considerable achievement due to the fact that dude just literally seppuku his wallet just for the sake of that collection. That's some dedication right there. And also, if you have ever seen a Highway 35 packaging, there's a mini comic that anyone could basically, well, try to read. There's like, I think 35 issues if I'm not mistaken, throughout the course of the entire series. But that's from what I've heard, although if anyone knows better than I do, just leave it down in the comment section below. And yeah, and also just to note that the details in the Highway 35 cars, the paint, the print, I don't know what materials it's made out of, but at the same time it's sort of like as if someone might have hydro dipped it, but I'm not so sure about that. But you know, that's just how it looked like, but still, the truth could be there somewhere. But if anyone knows how they did this sort of like paint, leave it down in the comment section below. That'll be greatly appreciated. So, moving on. Well, this is the unfortunate thing about Acceleracers. The gut-wrenching cliffhanger from the fourth movie left us wondering with so many questions and thoughts upon the series cancellation and future regarding it. As an Acceleracers fan, it's really sad to hear that happen. Even when I told it about my friend, he was shocked that that shit happened, which is unfortunate, but not well. It left us pondering with so many theories, and most of the fandom wrote a lot of like those fan projects and their own fan canon to honor the series, or an unofficial story on what the ending will be like. It's unfortunate that we'll never know what would the true ending be like, even though we've got some information and we got some pieces of like the future toy line that was supposed to be released, but unfortunately also got cancelled in the end. We would have gotten so much more from Acceleracers, although recently, after some demand from the fans and it's sort of gaining resurgence, Acceleracers have been gaining some bit of traction thanks to our head honcho with the Diora 2 wrap in Miami. For us fans, we just have to maintain this resurgence alive to get the ending we deserved many years ago. Until then, this is Darren Holland, and thanks to my friend Sam Garcia. I'll see you all next time.